I don't have any plan to develop a solo career or any kind of career outside of WEEZER. I just happen to have all these recordings that I did on my own, and I really loved them, and it hurt me just having them in my house and having no one hear them. So I wanted to get them out, but I'm not touring to support the album. I'm not hiring any other musicians, and I'm very satisfied being in WEEZER. Yeah, it's really impossible to pick one song that means the most to me. But for the purpose of conversation, I will pick one, and I will pick a song called Wanda from my demo collection. It's a very sad song filled with longing and something very innocent and childlike about it, but there's just such a deep sense of longing that moves me when I hear it still after 12 years. There's always a chance. Each time we make a record, I think it's open to anyone can bring any song from anywhere and suggest it. Hey, we should try this song. So it's a possibility that someone would say that. However, usually all four of us are most excited about our most recent compositions, and songs from 10 or 15 years ago I think we would be less excited about. So it's very unlikely that any of these songs would end up on a WEEZER record. I feel now that I'm married and have a baby, I just feel very content and secure, and I guess I feel more brave and willing to take chances as an artist, because my personal life just feels so comfortable. My creative life can be very just full of risks, and so I feel more adventurous. At the same time, it's opened up a new world of topics to write about, because I don't have to write about, oh, I'm lonely anymore. I felt like I was writing the same relationship type songs over and over, so now that's done with. Those questions are answered, and I can move on to new subjects. I like how safe I feel here. Maybe it's because I'm a foreigner, and I don't see things that Japanese people would see here. But to me, it just seems like a place where nothing really all that bad can happen. Like there's no crime or terrorism or anything like that. So I just feel so safe and peaceful, and generally really quiet. You don't have people honking horns all the time. I feel like I'm in a library wherever I go. It's just everyone's really chill, even though there's a lot of people. It's not like that in America. What do I not like about Japan? Well, for a long time I had a hard time with, I felt like people weren't direct about what they wanted from me. Like they wouldn't tell me what they were really thinking. And it drove me crazy. I'd feel like, well, if you want me to go over there, just tell me to go over there, and but Japanese people are so courteous and polite. They don't want to offend anyone. It took me a while to get used to that style, because Americans aren't like that. Like, for example, with my wife and her family in Kumamoto, something I didn't like was they'd say like, well, you want to go with us to the bakery to pick up some bread? I'd say okay, and then we'd get in the car we'd start going to the bakery, and they'd all be talking in Japanese. I wouldn't understand, and then we'd end up at a drugstore,
Mm-hmm.
and then I'd be like, okay, and they'd start talking again. We'd end up at a supermarket, and then after 2 hours, I'd be like, what's going on? I thought we're just going to be gone for 15 minutes to the bakery, and they wouldn't think to include me in those decisions. That drove me nuts. I don't know if that's a Japanese thing though. Might just be them. I love them though. I love them very much. No. I feel like Weezer's played too many festivals and it just doesn't seem like a fun, exciting, creative challenge. Next year, 2008, I want to just do our own headline shows here in Japan. And obviously it means we have to play for a much smaller audience, but we can have more control over the show and really make it something creative and mind-blowing.
Is this Curtis?
This is? How's it going, Brian?
I'm doing good.
You still dry at all after what's happening out there today?
Yeah, just had to postpone getting coffee until I got to the venue.
But we are still definitely on for tonight, right?
Yes, I hope so.
Okay, people are calling in. I'm wanting to make sure because you know what, we want to see you guys.
Am I doing a radio interview?
Yes.
Okay, I'll put on my radio voice then.
There we go.
Okay.
So you guys are teamed up with the Foo Fighters for this, one of the best double billing shows in a long time. How'd you guys decide to go through with this?
How did we decide? Well, it wasn't much decision once it was offered. It seemed like a no-brainer. This is business stuff, which probably nobody cares about, but I think we have the same booking agent. Yes, we do. It's kind of like a real estate agent that's selling and buying the same house. They get a double bonus, so, of course he's going to say, hey, how about touring with this band that is my client?
So he had to do half the work. He gets double the profits.
Yes.
And we get a good show out of it. So it works out, I guess.
Yeah, it works out. It worked out for everyone.
And you guys up there at the DCU Center tonight, you've been working up the East Coast. I actually got to see you guys on Monday in Fairfax, Virginia.
Oh, great.
You guys put on a great show there.
Thank you.
And but also what kind of struck me as interesting, I hadn't seen you guys do before, was both you, Scott, and Pat all had lead vocal duties. So
yeah, I know.
What triggered that happening on this tour?
Well, I think a couple things. One being that Rivers decided that it would just be good for the band morale. We're all secretly lead singers anyway.
Okay.
And it was also we're playing a longer set than we normally do and a longer tour than we normally do. And it was a way for him to have a break. And it's a way for us to play some songs that he doesn't really want to sing anymore as well.
Like Blur's song too.
Yeah, well, that was Pat's idea to throw it into into photograph and just something, hopefully to please the crowd. After a while we play things, we try not to let things get too stagnant because, if we're not excited playing it, then it's going to come across. And so we try to challenge ourselves and play songs we haven't played in a long time, and, have me sing it that I've never done in front of a live audience or something. And, it can be very nerve-wracking, but it's also quite rewarding if you persevere and get through it. And, it's a confidence booster, and it makes the show, that much more thrilling for us.
Yeah, with all of your huge hits, how do you combine what people might want to hear and what you guys want to play for them?
Well, with these crowds, we're really trying to play songs that people may know from us. We know that, this isn't 100% our crowd. They might know Beverly Hills, or they might know Buddy Holly or something, and so we'll definitely play those, and then any other song that was, tried to be a single at one time. Normally we'll do those, but then we'll throw in Il Scorcho. As a band, we're always pushing Rivers to do some Pinkerton songs, and I think our hardcore fans definitely want that. They get great responses, even from I think people that don't even know Weezer. Kind of reassuring, like, hey, this wasn't such a flop, Yeah,
you guys played "The Damage in Your Heart," I think, for the first time ever. I read the other night in Philly.
Yeah. Which to me, it's let's just play songs we love, and you know, people will dig it, and you know, you don't need to have the crowd punching each other in the face and moshing or whatever they call it these days to every song. Well, I did an arrangement of "Smile" off the Green album, which wasn't even a very well-known song, but I really enjoyed the song and liked it and liked my arrangement, and I forced the band to play it, and it was extremely scary for me to do it, and vulnerable instrumentation of me just on the keyboards and everybody playing fairly quiet. But I felt a pretty captivated audience just watching, and then afterwards there was a huge applaud that, you know, that came after, not during the song. So there's something to be learned there too.
Just getting to know what your fans were like, and you know, just trusting your instinct on it, I guess.
Just trusting yeah, exactly, and just have confidence in yourself. And you know, if this is the first tour, I think we're actually looking people in the eyes in the audience, and being okay with that.
It's definitely the most energetic time I've seen you guys. You guys before, we always put on a great show, but there was definitely so much more energy this time, and it really blew me away.
Well, thanks. Well, we actually work very hard on thinking of ways to make the set better. We actually have band meetings every day and talk about the set from the night before, and you know, how we can elide into songs faster, and where the energy should be, what the tempo should be, what the keys should be, all these things, which, you know, I'm not sure if other bands consider or not. They might just go with a set that has worked for them in the past, but we're always trying to one up ourselves. So that kind of work ethic has really paid off, and I think for the most part we haven't fallen on our face too many times from doing it.
And on your new album, Make Believe, you guys recorded 40 or more songs. Only 12 of them made it to the CD. Or we can see any other songs on another CD or B-sides at some point?
Well, certainly if we go down in a plane crash, you will.
That's not good thinking on a day like today.
Well, I know I'm just being, I guess, somewhat funny, or hopefully I'm not predicting anything, but I sure hope so, because I think some of the songs might be better than one of the ones we chose, and I was very disappointed about a few of them that didn't make the album. And I really want them to see the light of day. And we have so many great B-sides that are every bit as good as the A-sides, and why they weren't on the album, so I will never know.
Well, walk me through that process. How do you guys actually sit down and choose the 12, 13, whatever songs you're going to put on a disc?
Well, this time around, it was somewhat democratic, where we picked the songs we wanted to be on the album, like what our top 12, what our favorite album would be. And the people that got to choose was everyone in the band, and I think Rick Rubin. So that was a tiebreaker. At the very last minute, we get word that Rivers didn't want a couple of these songs that were on my list to even be considered. So I was pretty upset about that, and I was definitely vocal about it. And, obviously, because I'm talking about it now still, I just thought it was a mistake, you know, and I didn't think that what kind of democratic process is that if there's a veto on certain songs. But, you know, you can only be democratic so much in these kind of situations. So other than that, I had to re-choose, and I think my choice definitely swayed a song like The Other Way on the record. So, you know, be that what it will. It was good. It was good in theory, but I definitely let Rick Rubin know what I thought about his democratic process, and letting someone veto something that goes against the whole philosophy, I thought.
To make a horrible music joke, a Chinese democracy, so to speak.
Okay. I don't know much about politics, but
I just meant the album that Guns N' Roses never seems to be able to put out.
Oh, is that their title?
Supposedly. It's been in the works for, 15 years now.
Well, we see Chinese democracy doesn't work too well, obviously.
You have said that you really have no idea where the band's going to be in the year. This isn't a farewell tour, is it?
I never said that.
You didn't?
No, but I think we have made cryptic statements like that.
Okay.
And there's no motive behind them. It just kind of a statement that means nothing really. Like who knows? Nobody knows what the future holds. And I think the band has never been stronger as a musical entity. And we know that while we know is Rivers is going to school, and he talks about, like, we'll get together if I'm able to write songs, and I'm like, you mean when? Because there's no if with this guy. He writes songs like every day, so whether he thinks they're good or not is another question. So it's just his confidence, and I don't know, and it might have been a cry for like attention or something.
Okay, I got you.
We just finished touring with the Foo Fighters for about 3 months, maybe?
Or 3 years.
2 months.
They're very outgoing guys, and at any time during the day, even right before they're about to play, their dressing room door is open, and they invite us in, and we're quite the opposite, where we need like an hour to prepare, and nobody's allowed in, not even our girlfriends or wives or anyone, their crew, no one, and we're kind of uptight, and they saw that, and
Yeah, I'm not uptight.
and they thought, hey, I know it would be funny. Let's hire some strippers and have them come out for Weezer's last show. And actually, Scott guessed that's what would happen, but little did we know there'd be male strippers.
Yeah, but we're all playing. We're playing Buddy Holly, and I look and I'm seeing people, and this is a bad sign. When people are like pointing above you and laughing, like, it's like, I was like, oh, there's gonna be something really bad behind me. So like, think really slowly, like all of us kind of went like, and looked, and there were full on like 6 dudes dancing and starting to take their clothes off, and like, what are you gonna do at that point? I think we just tried to rock as hard as we could. I tried to get as low to the ground as I possibly could. I started bending over, playing way down on the ground.
And they also had WEEZER across their chest in sequential order.
Well, we also do this thing where Rivers goes out in front of house and does Island in the Sun, so we don't have a guitar player for a minute, so we have somebody from the audience come up that Brian usually picks out, and they come up and play acoustic guitar for Undone, the Sweater song. And this night they had it rigged for, Dave Grohl had a hoodie on and came up and said his name was Billy Bob, and he was our special secret guest. That was pretty fun. Or not. I thought it was fun, actually.
Very fun. We smashed the guitar. It was all in good fun, and we owe them one.
Yeah, we have a plan, though.
With Don't Let Go, I just started strumming these chords and started singing. One word came out after the other, and I had no idea what I was singing about. And then at the end, it was a full song, and I still don't even know what it's about. And there's a lot of songs I've written like that, especially on the Green album. When I was writing them, they were just coming out so fast, I had no idea what I was talking about. And then I'm surprised, sometimes months later, I go back and really read what I was writing, and it's weird that it makes sense sometimes. I don't know what impressions people come away with from our songs. I'd probably be the last person that would know the answer to that.
What we wound up getting with Rick Rubin was a little different than I had first imagined, because I was thinking that he was going to be a little bit more kind of behind the scenes and showing up once in a while. And from right away in pre-production, he was there every day, hanging out on the couch. And when we started tracking, he was there every day for every take. And we really didn't do any takes without him there for the first whole month and a half or so. So,
yeah, and making the record was different than we thought it would be. We thought it was going to be very quick. We were just going to go in and bang it out. And then it turned into a multi-year epic process. And he was right there every step of the way with us when we needed him.
What Rick Rubin also brought to the recordings is just you want to up your, for lack of better cliche, your game when you're playing. And even today when he was in the room, I wasn't thinking about all these cameras and all these people in the room. I was thinking about Rick, and felt secure with him, just his presence. And it's something that's pretty intangible in a way. He makes you feel at ease in these crazy environments like this. And had he not been here, I don't know if we would have been able to pull it off as well.
yeah, he really brings out the best in us, I feel.
Yeah, I felt the same way today.
And personally and musically and everything.
When I was writing the song Perfect Situation, I had 2 different versions of the chorus melody. One went down and one went up, and I didn't know which was better. I ended up settling with my first instinct, which was the one that went down. And we made the record, and then we went out and started playing the song live. Before the audience was really familiar with the recording, they would just hear the song, and they'd be singing along. We'd ask them to sing along in that last chorus. And they just started singing the other melody that we hadn't actually recorded. They started going up at the end of the chorus. I think it was at that point we realized, well, if these 10,000 people think it should go this way, maybe we should go back and re-record it. And so that's what we did. We got right into the studio, we re-recorded the chorus, and put out a different version of the album.
But none of this would have happened if it wasn't for a conscious effort to change our live shows to engage the audience more. And it was Scott's idea for a part of the set to have a kind of the only band I can think of is like a Bon Jovi sort of call and response thing. And had we not done that, we'd probably have never re-recorded it, and it won't become the smash that it will become.
When I write personal songs, writing what's going on in my life at the time and what I'm feeling, I don't know why. For some reason, I still come out sounding like a really immature person and like not a confident and successful rock star. I just sound like the same loser that I was back in the day. So I'm not sure why that's happening. You know, it's not something I'm consciously striving for. Maybe it proves that deep down inside we all have a lot of the same feelings and insecurities, no matter how successful we are.
What made you pick this song out?
Well, the thing about Say It Ain't So is it's the first song that I actually sang on. It has a special place for me because it was the first song that made me feel like I could break down that barrier and actually sing in front of people and not have to run off and hide in the woods and all that kind of thing. You know?
That running off and hiding into the woods thing is a kind of prominent thread through the whole band, isn't it?
Yeah, I think we'll get there someday.
Is that what brought you guys together in the first place, just the shy quality?
Well, you know, when you start your first band like I did with Rivers and the rest of the guys, I think you just end up in a very inward place of having to ask all these questions, and you're faced with an endless array of them. And there wasn't a more perfect person for me to meet that was as analytical as I was, and into getting into those questions in Rivers. And him and I would spend endless amounts of time sitting on a couch, just 8 hours at a shot, talking about music and how to find that place that you could make music that you'd like to hear from other people. You know, we jumped right into the water with it, but as soon as we got there, there was just a partnership between him and I that gave us that freedom to be really self-deprecating and put ourselves in the position of saying, listen, we have none of the answers, and all we have are questions right now, and to just keep asking away until you could reach a space where you could play the kind of music that you'd be really proud of. And it took us a while, but we got there. And then I think you kind of go into autopilot at some point, and you're cruising along the road, and you're playing the kind of music that is in your record collection, and you're in sort of a blissful place. And I think at some point, while you're in cruise mode, you stop and take a flip through your record collection and notice that the kind of music that you're listening to and the kind of music that inspires you isn't necessarily the kind of music that you're playing.
I think what you're alluding to here is the point that you got that brought you to your solo project, which we're going to hear in a little bit. But before we get to that, I want to step through some of the other stuff that you had done over the years, just to remind people and refresh people of the work that you've been doing along with WEEZER. Rentals is a side project that happened simultaneously with your work with WEEZER.
Yeah, I think the Rentals got caught up in the whirlwind of everything that was happening off the Blue record, and behind the scenes there was this feeling, as I'm sure you remember, that of that period of the 90s where every record company, everybody was looking for that one word thing that was going to be the next Nirvana, and that was it, and everybody put all their focus and their weight into that. And for a very brief time there behind the scenes, it was some delusional feeling that lo-fi new wave was going to overtake the airwaves of America and the rest of the world, and we were going to be just the ones to champion that cause. And
hey, you guys came close.
Well, it was it was just such an odd time and such a surreal thing to view how in Los Angeles how those things can turn on a dime.
Oh, yeah.
And you just can sit back, and we had almost started making a documentary about it right at the beginning of it, from when the record companies were pitching us and all the rest. And
That would have been fun to watch.
no, we only filmed the decline, which was sort of depressing, but some of the rise would have been a kind of a joy to look back on.
Well, I want to head into the first of a couple Reynolds tracks. This is from the first record. Just such a feel-good song.
Yeah, this song was co-written with Sherilyn Westrich, and she sings on the first record, and it's probably my favorite song of the whole things I've done from that period. I'm usually most attracted to the songs that are the most collaborative. Maybe that's why we picked Say It Ain't So, and this song is probably the most collaborative song that was done on Return of the Rentals. And so for me, it's easiest to always enjoy being able to listen to what other people bring to it instead of what my role is in it, I guess.
That's cool. I got to ask you, though, from the sidelines, it always seemed to me there might be like a competition between the Rentals and the WEEZER camp type thing. Was there ever any strife between you and the WEEZER guys because of the success of the Rentals?
Yeah, I think there may have been from their side in the thick of it, but I couldn't really say. I think that would be something to ask them. But for me, that was kind of something I really relished and enjoyed.
You know, listening to this track, of all the work that you've done in the past, this is one that feels like a stepping stone to where you came to on this new album that's coming.
Yeah. As we were talking about earlier, it was the first song that I had done with Petra, and as soon as we had done that, I had kind of felt in that moment that we were talking about that I wish the whole record could be in that headspace, and that the whole record could have been in a much more calm place than what it started out to, because at first my whole feeling about the record was just to build this epic tower of song for a friend of mine, and I had all these delusional visions of every pub in Europe, everybody packed in the pubs, kind of arms around each other, singing these songs in this girl's honor, and that she wouldn't be able to escape the fact that there were billboards the size of towers with her face on it and that kind of thing, you know. And
is this a lost love, like a?
Yeah, it's one of those things, and.
Can I ask you about the meaning behind 7 More Minutes, the title of the Rentals record?
It would be very difficult to explain.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
That's totally fine. So then get us up to date on the making of this record that's coming, which I guess is coming sometime early 2004.
Well, I'd known for a while that even towards the conclusion of 7 More Minutes, that the next record that I wanted to make was going to be in Nashville. At the time, I don't think I had such a good idea of what it was I was trying to make, but just that it was going to be done there, for just the simple fact that most of the records I was listening to, my favorite records, were recorded in Nashville, Blonde on Blonde and those kinds of things. And that whole idea that, you know, the Mercury sound and all those sorts of things were always sounded so romantic to me, that idea. And a friend of mine just called me up and said, listen, I found a house that is not quite in Nashville, that is a little deeper into the countryside. And so then we found ourselves in this town, which is one of these places that is stuck in a place in time. Everything that is there is exactly as it was in the 1700s. They've kept it perfectly preserved. Mm-hmm. And so I don't know how many people live there, maybe a few hundred. So it's a spiritual place to be. The
EP that's just come out on In Music We Trust, the record is called Puckett's versus the Country Boy. Is this a diner or something?
It's the Country Boy is one of the restaurants that's or I should say it's the only restaurant in Leapers Fort.
Is it? Okay.
And essentially, you know, we were in this little country house off this road called Old Hillsborough Road, and every morning at 4212 Old Hillsborough Road, you get up and you had one choice to start each day, and that choice was, am I going to eat at the Country Boy, or am I going to eat at Puckett's? And Puckett's is a local gas station / grill, and they face each other, sort of in somewhat of a battle there, you know. And there's always a face-off between the two of them, and that was your choice every morning for 7 months.
That's adorable.
So, and that's where the title of the record comes from.
This is just a tease of what's going to be a full-length album coming sometime early 2004 on a label to be decided.
Yeah, we're just trying to figure that out now. So
okay. So how are you now? I mean, you've kind of come you've lived behind the music. I mean, you know, how are you feeling now?
I know I'm always petrified of the day that call is going to come, because when the WEEZER call comes, you know, and says, "All right, let's have it out," I think I'm going to have to pass on that.
Oh. It's been a ride. I mean, how are you guys doing? Do you get along with the WEEZER guys? Are you guys in a good place, or?
Yeah, the WEEZER thing is always such a confusing thing to talk about or to understand. I guess that's why it's so hard to talk about, because we've like family had our rough and rocky periods and some pretty joyous ones as well. And the last time I saw Rivers was only a few weeks ago, but before that I hadn't seen him for years, and he just showed up at a concert I was doing at the El Cid restaurant, and was carrying a copy of the EP in hand and a copy of the poster and a T-shirt with my name on it that he was wearing, and was very sweet. He was very sweet and wanted to help us roadie and carried all the guitar cases and the whole thing. And I hadn't said one word to him in 2 years, probably. So, and after that, I think you're just left a little perplexed, and because there's so much kind of turbulent water underneath that bridge, it takes me a while to say, all right, I can't quite jump full throttle into reconciliation with all this stuff. But if anybody knows how to make an entrance and to make a room feel really bizarre, it's that man, my old friend Rivers, you know.
But there's a lot of love between you guys, obviously.
But yeah, you know, gained, lost, regained, all that kind of stuff. So
yeah, the Warped Tour is really what gave us the shot of confidence that we needed to get our thing going again. Because until that point, I'd pretty much just been sitting in my room wishing I was playing music.
Well, yeah, I mean, we were rehearsing to do a record at the time, but we were I think we were still a little bit lost and weren't sure what we were going to do, and we went out and did that, and the reception was so amazing that it was so inspiring to go out. So we ended up touring for the rest of the summer. And
believe me, we were so ready to get out there to an audience. We
were jonesing.
We basically paid them to play. We didn't get any money. We toured in a van. We lost money, but it wasn't about that. It was about getting out there, and we were really excited.
We thought we were going to get killed, lynched.
Yeah, I thought we were going to get killed on that tour.
Yeah, it was really weird because there were two stages. One band was playing, and people were throwing stuff at them, booing them. And the next band that played, people were chanting WEEZER during their set, and like, what's going on? This is bizarre. I was not prepared for any of that.
Yeah, and then when we got such a good reaction, that's what we needed to get our confidence back. And then we came up with all these new songs and went right into the studio.
The toughest part was the pre-production before we got in, because we had about 80 songs that we had to whittle down to 20 before we actually went in and started. So that was the toughest thing, was that we were really pulling our hair out trying to figure out which songs to use, but we did a good job. I think the whole thing took like 5 weeks or something.
Yeah, and that was with like endless like minor changes.
It sounds really good.
They're all really generic, lame titles like Don't Let Go,
Island in the
Island in the
Sun.
Sun. Oh, Girlfriend.
Crab.
Crab, that's strange.
Yeah.
It's really compressed, but I don't think any of our fans would recognize that.
There's a nice picture on the front.
Well, you changed the titles too.
Yeah.
I don't know.
We got
I haven't heard the record actually.
We named like 4.
It's kind of like the first record, but more in that direction than even the first record.
I know there's some more songs on there.
Oh, Lisa.
Isn't that just Lisa?
No, that's
Oh,
Oh,
okay.
Lisa.
And it's just super straight ahead. But Hashpipe actually is pretty awesome. It's pretty rocking, and I really like that. And some of the other songs are more sort of early Beatles, if they had like big rock guitars.
I was looking for guys in L.A. while Rivers was in Boston, and then when he came back to L.A., we played with some of the guys I found, and that contacted our management. And then towards the end of it all, Rivers brings in this guy that he's been playing with in Boston.
And then when Matt left, it was like pretty much a no-brainer. We just take Mikey because he rules.
And I was like, why didn't we get him all along? But we had to see what our options were, you know.
Rivers came back out to L.A. and Matt left, and then I flew out and started playing with these losers, and that was that.
Well, I think these things now with the internet, it's so easy for people all over the country to interact with one another. Somehow I got started to throw, in the line, your Superman skivvies and Undone. Someone thought it was funny to throw underwear on stage at that moment.
But they're huge, like, underwear.
They're ironic panties.
It freaks me out because I'm so like, that is just so weird.
I'm into it.
Yeah. I have a good collection at home now. In case I run out.
I would prefer underwear from girls that were actually wearing them at the time.
Are you, like, actually waiting for a plane as we speak?
Yes.
Oh, sorry about that. Sorry, no, WEEZER is the band that River is from, and all the way from Los Angeles, LA. How are the gigs there? Here, I mean.
The gigs here?
Yes.
They're good.
Are they good? You've done a couple?
We're still a little sleepy from jet lag. But,
Really? I can't tell.
Drink enough Jägermeister and I think we have a good time.
Yeah, that's good. Now, these guys formed in LA on 14th of February 92. Now, how come you went on a date on that day? Because it was Valentine's Day. Was it just a blokey thing that you were doing, forming a band? It's a long time ago to remember that.
I think we were even oblivious of which day it was, but just looking back on it, it seems like a nice coincidence.
Yeah, I noticed that and picked up on it, but it's not a love thing then. Did you go to LA to become rock stars? I understand you originally weren't from LA.
Yeah, as soon as I graduated high school, I went across the country to LA to become a rock star.
And it was specifically to go to be a rock star?
Yeah.
Yeah? Yeah, wow. Is it an easy job being a rock star? You get flowers and stuff.
It's easier than other jobs I've had.
Yeah, hosting shows and stuff. Yeah. And is it a rewarding job?
Yeah, it's very rewarding.
I'm glad, because you guys did 250 gigs in about a year and a half. That doesn't sound easy to me. Where were you touring in that time? Big time.
Mostly the United States.
Yeah, all over the place. World?
No, Europe.
Europe.
The United States.
Europe is world.
This is our first time in Australia.
Yeah.
Then we go to Japan. That'll be fun.
It will be fun. I'm gonna just go through quickly here because we're running out of time a bit. Pinkerton, are we allowed to say that on air? Because I understand you had a bit of trouble with that name.
Yeah, today we're still allowed to say it.
I'm glad. Pinkerton is the album. Debuted at number 19 in the US Billboard charts and at number 44 on the ARIA charts. When was that recorded?
That was recorded last September, last December, and April and June.
Wow, a long recording process. LA, Boston, and New York that was being recorded in. El Scacho is the single off that.
When I got your CD here. Which guy are you?
I'm the guy with the red and white striped shirt.
Whoa. The intellectual one?
No.
Wouldn't
say so. That would be Rivers. He's the studyaholic.
Well, you guys finished anything like studies or something? Because it looks like a college band to me. No offense. I mean.
Well, we're continue to on the road.
Yeah.
More so, like with those self-taught courses and all those things. Like we're teaching ourselves French right now.
Whoa. Could you drop me a line?
Brian and Rivers and I are all doing it.
Cool.
Just more so, just to be like, not to go completely brain dead, but just be somewhat productive.
Yeah. Because the tour must be exhausting now.
Well, it's been, I guess, about 5 months. I mean, that's somewhere around there, straight with no breaks.
No breaks?
No.
Is it every night a gig?
Pretty much. You know, we have a day off like once every 2 weeks or once a week.
Well, you guys are doing pretty well now in the States, aren't you?
Yeah.
How's
it's been really good to us so far.
Yeah?
Uh-huh.
You got your CD, sold a lot of copies?
You in Amsterdam?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. Are we on the air?
No, not ready.
Okay.
Because it's like 7 o'clock in the evening here.
Ah.
It's the afternoon there?
Yeah, it's
like... 1 o'clock.
No, it's 1 o'clock here.
That's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway,
I got done watching the end of Rocky.
Sorry? You're going to watch the end of Rocky?
Taking a shower. Somebody had it on.
Jesus. You're playing Milwaukee tonight?
Yes.
What's that
Never
sort?
played here before.
Never?
Uh-uh.
Well, looking forward?
Yeah, sure.
You're playing with Lush still?
No, I wish.
You wish?
Yeah, they're amazing.
With whom are you playing now, then?
With the band Live.
Live? Whoa.
All these four-letter L bands, I guess.
What, about names, I mean, what's WEEZER for a name?
I have no idea. Our singer came up with it. That's all about him.
It sounds like Wiener.
Yeah, great. I don't know. I have no idea. That's all his deal.
I think this is one of the best, actually, CDs I heard in '94 until now. Really?
Until now, who's better?
None.
Okay.
I mean, this is like amazing.
Just kidding.
Yeah, I know.
It's one of the best CDs I've heard until now, so it was like... Okay.
Yeah, because I just heard it.
Right.
No, just kidding. I mean, it's like a... What's your guys' background?
Huh?
What's your musical background? You play punk all the time or not?
You mean like early on?
Yeah.
No, I would definitely say not. I don't know. I think we probably pretty much all started out listening to good music, then got into really bad music, and then we're back to good music again.
Because you guys are pretty technical.
The cycle sort of works with most people.
Because you guys are pretty technical. I mean, like musically speaking. Yeah.
You think?
I try to figure it out, but I find it hard. I mean,
the songs?
Yeah.
No.
There are tricks inside. Yeah, you're a bass player. I mean,
all 1, 4, 5.
I must confess, I mean, the bass lines are pretty easy, but I think there are guitar licks which are pretty hard.
Wow.
Yeah, that says enough about my technical inspirations, though, but...
Yes, because I think I can play most of their parts, and if that's the truth, that's pretty sad.
Wow. Oh, wow. Are you guys fans of Kiss?
We just watched a Kiss video the other day. Rivers grew up on that stuff, pretty much, but the rest of us, I mean, I can appreciate it, I guess.
What can you
Rivers is the big Kiss fan.
Because it's mentioned in his garage song, In the Garage?
Right.
Whoa. No kidding. You guys were from...
We met Ace Frehley the other night.
Yeah, exactly.
He came to see us play.
No, really?
Yeah.
No kidding.
I swear to God. In New York, we were playing with Hole, and he came back and introduced himself, and it was pretty amazing.
No kidding. Is he into your...
Complete shock.
How was he?
Huh?
Well, how was he?
Nice.
Was a nice guy.
Yeah, he's an older guy. I mean, he's like 45 now or something. So, it's like father figure, I guess, or something. But he was really nice.
Father figure to you?
To anybody. I mean, just as far as we're pretty young still. So.
You guys are from California?
No.
No?
Well, the band is from California.
Yeah, but you're not?
No, I'm from Washington, D.C.
Whoa.
Rivers is from Connecticut. Our drummer, Pat, is from Buffalo, New York, and Brian is from Tennessee.
So basically, you're not a Californian band?
Yeah, I'd say we are.
Why?
We all lived there for a while before we together. So I'd say we pretty much were an LA band.
Who writes the lyrics?
Rivers, he's the man.
He's the man.
Yeah.
So what are you?
What am I?
Just
I'm
kidding.
a chump.
Just kidding. You guys be over in February in Holland?
Are we what? We're going to be over there in February. Yeah.
Well, you're planning a tour or something there?
Yeah, about a month long.
You know anything about it?
No, we just started getting the information in, but it's all completely wrong, I'm sure, at this point, because whenever we find out about any tour, they give it to us, and we're like, oh, this is great, and then it completely changes.
Yeah. Did you got any interviews from Europe before or not?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you got? Because when we sent out a fax, it was like, whoa. This guy on the phone, he was like, whoa, you guys want to do an interview with WEEZER? Man. So, but it's not unfamiliar.
The guy was just on the phone?
I don't know. My manager arranged this stuff, so.
Okay. Well, we haven't been released in England yet.
Haven't?
No.
Whoa.
They're waiting.
Yeah, I guess so.
I guess for us to, like, so we can go there at the time when the record's released or something like that.
Are you guys working on new material already?
Yeah, we're always kind of working on material. We're not really, nobody's really writing right now, but we have about 4 or 5 songs that could be on the next record probably.
When does that due?
Who knows? Whenever they let us go on this one, which will be probably a while.
What do you expect? WEEZER to be like really big?
I don't know what that is. What's really big?
Michael Jackson?
That's really big. Okay, that's as big as you get. What's bigger? What's smaller but bigger than that? I mean, like, as far as I'm concerned, where we're at now is way, way bigger than I ever thought we would get, and I consider that kind of big. So I'm just like,
yeah.
Like I never figured we'd be at this level. So
you expect to? I mean, Green Day is pretty.
Now I pretty much have no expectations at all.
Not at all.
No.
Why not?
Because I'd rather think negative than positive.
Why is that?
Because then you never get let down, pretty much.
Oh, fuck.
Pretty easy way. I mean, if you start thinking like, wow, this is going to be so great, and everybody's going to love this, and and then people just say, oh, it's shit, and then it's like, well,
yeah.
Disappointing, I guess. But if you figure everybody's going to think it's shit, and then a few people like it, then it's actually kind of gratifying.
So now you're prepared for failure eventually. I mean, no.
Yeah, I'd say we're the band that's more prepared to fail than any band ever.
And you shouldn't, because I mean the songs are great, right? I mean, there's actually no filler song or something on this CD. It's like all worked out songs. It's
right.
It's great. I mean,
yeah, that's what I guess the original intention with the record was supposed to be, was like try to make it so there's absolutely no filler.
Yeah, how long did you guys work on this record? I mean, did you write songs for about 10 years or something?
2 years probably. No, less than that. Probably about a year and a half.
So that's pretty fast. I mean,
I guess so. I mean, you could say that, like, I mean, all of us have been trying to write songs for a very long, long time. And they were all crap until these songs came along, pretty much. And Rivers wrote a ton of music, and it was all shit, pretty much, for the most part. Probably with some like little things in here and there that were good, but then all of a sudden he started figuring out
how it works,
how how he works best or whatever. So then all of a sudden the songs got pretty good for a while.
So now you know how. What made it change? I mean, how did you learn to play?
You could the more you write, the more you realize how to write. I figure. I mean, I think all art is pretty much like that. You just got to keep creating and creating and creating. And a majority of it will be shit, but if you keep creating somewhere in there, there'll be some gems, I guess, or whatever.
Yeah, but it's the hardest thing to figure out what is shit and what's not, because I mean, like most bands think everything they do is like good or.
Yeah, well, I mean, I don't know. I mean, for us, we're all pretty critical, so.
Yeah, is WEEZER a surf band?
A surf band?
Yeah.
You said were we a surf band?
Yeah. Is it like Surf Wax America?
No. It's sort of mocking a friend's band that's like that.
Your friend's band's like that?
Sorta. Our friend's band's like a party kind of band, like have fun all the time kind of band.
Uh-huh.
And it's sort of
You guys, this record, it's got this atmosphere which is not let's say not totally positive. I think it's beautiful, but is this you did it deliberately, of course? Was this the mood you were in when you were making this record or something?
Well, if you're talking lyrical question, I have no idea. I don't get too involved in that at all. I hate answering lyrical questions because it's Rivers stuff, and I don't want to say where the hell he's coming from because
you don't write
no
lyric.
idea.
No. Okay, let's talk about the bass.
I mean, they're probably pretty much. My guess is they're pretty much all songs about relationships and whatever and personal things with him, and that's not always positive. I would guess. So. That's my guess.
What?
That's my guess.
Yeah, you keep on guessing.
Yeah.
So talking about
yeah, I think that's probably right. But anyways.
Okay, talking about bass lines. What's your favorite music?
Favorite bass lines?
Yeah, music, just like now. Favorite bass players?
General. I don't really know. I mean, I've been listening. Everybody listens to pretty much such diverse stuff. For me, I really like the bass player on the first 3 Gary Newman records. There's 2 different guys, but I think he's really amazing.
Yeah.
Been really into him for a while. Who else is really great? I mean, all the great bass players are like Paul McCartney and Brian Wilson is pretty amazing.
That's most 60s stuff, so.
Yeah, I mean, they're really pretty incredible as far as how they wrote. With the first record, pretty much how everything worked was one of the guys would write the music, either Rivers or Pat, and then I would just pretty much try to do whatever they did, but kind of simplify it a bit. Because it was usually like a little bit busier than what I wanted to do. So I just simplify it. But now it's more like everybody's sort of writing their parts a little bit more. And it's a little bit more collaborative than it used to be.
It's more melodic bass lines.
Yeah, I think it's getting much better. I mean, when we started, none of us knew how to, or especially me, really didn't know how to play bass at all. So it was just like kind of pretty much figuring it out as we went along. But now that we've been on the road for a while, it's like actually starting to figure things out and like how to make things work together better. And
improving. Yeah. This music is pretty loud. I mean, it's pretty hard. It's pretty rough.
Yeah, I think it's probably heavier live too.
Even heavier live.
Yeah, I would think so.
How come do you think that suddenly this sort of music, this loud music or heavy music, is getting so popular right now?
Is it really popular there?
Over here, yeah.
Yeah, it's really popular here now. The weirdest thing I think is that biggest change is with pop music here is that English alternative bands aren't really that as big here anymore, and it's really Americanized, and it's really like this like guitar heavy American punk or whatever, you know. I don't know. It's just like Paul Abdul and all that stuff isn't really on the radio anymore. It's just like, you know.
So this is
Green Day and all that.
Offspring.
Lots of like old Nirvana stuff.
Did you hear that the Billy Joe singer from Green Day?
That guy.
He broke his ankle.
Really?
Yesterday.
When was that?
Yesterday in Amsterdam.
Wow.
So be prepared.
Doing what?
Live on stage.
Did he like jump up and fall on it weird or something?
No, he was like they were playing this gig and they just finished one song, and in the middle of the second song, so they only played like 5 minutes. He jumped off from stage and he fell on his on his microphone stand, and he broke his ankle 2 places.
He's really a good guy.
Where do you know him from?
I just met him. We played a show with them in Hull in Seattle, and whatever, hung out with him, and he was real nice. I mean, pretty much surprisingly enough, everybody that I met from other bands that like whatever that you hear on American radio and stuff a lot, well, it's kind of preconceived notions about some people, but they're all pretty nice. So those guys are really great. People freak out on them so bad.
Yeah, they're so big now.
They're huge here. It's insane. I hear that there's 2 songs, and now it's 3 of them, like on the radio, just more than anybody. It's really crazy.
Are they as big as Nirvana
But, I mean,
used?
I can understand why. I mean, I don't know. Like, if you see them live, they're pretty amazing. So
Yeah.
I
But
think.
Are they in America as big as Nirvana used to be?
Are
Right
they
now?
as big as Nirvana?
Used to be. I mean, in the
Used to
beginning.
be?
Yeah.
I don't know. I probably would say no. I think Nirvana changed things more than anything else. Like, they pretty much completely fucked up American radio. I mean, everything's different now, and it seems to be mostly all rooted from Kurt or whatever. Like, what people will play on radio now is just completely different. I think, like, Green Day and Us and all this, whatever, I mean, we're sort of, like, after the fact. Like, I don't know if they didn't really change anything, but they're huge.
Yeah.
I have no idea how many records they sell. I don't really care, but they're definitely enormous.
Yeah, so today it's like really, it's really possible for bands, heavy or punk bands, to get airplay in the States. I mean, it didn't used to be that way.
Possible.
What?
It's totally possible.
It's like really total hype now. Is this a new wave of punk coming from America?
Yeah, I don't even think you need to be on a big old, like, I mean, like, we're on this big old label, and Green Day's on this big old label and everything, but I don't even think that's even necessary at all anymore. It's like, radio's just completely changed now.
So punk's taking over.
I guess, if that's what you want to call it. I think it's more like a bunch of ex-metalheads playing, like, music that they think is better than...
Selling a lot of records, okay.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know if it's so much, punk, whatever. Pretty much everybody's just trying to write some decent songs, and that's pretty much it. So
Try something different.